For the GAPLL, we can see that the first algorithm is the most used by 53%, but only 13% of the sub-7 second solvers use this algorithm. But for the second one, we can see that over 75% of the sub-7 second solvers use it. That's why we're recommending it. And we have this data for all PLL and OLL cases. Hi, I'm Tan. I'm the creator of Acubemy, and we analyzed 25 million solves. And in this video, I want to show you what the data looked like, what methods we used, and what results we got. If you just want to see the results, feel free to skip to the timestamps at the end of the video. All of this started when I saw this post of SierpinskiBrot on Reddit, link in the comments. He posted a graph that showed TPS versus solve times on over 19 million solves. Knowing how much this data is worth, we immediately contacted him and asked him where he got it from. And as you can also read in the post's comments, he got the data from the CubeStation app, the software for the gun smart cubes. And after some back and forth, he was generous enough to send over the data. Thanks for that, SierpinskiBrot. So, with the data at hand, let's take a look at what's inside. We have two tables. One containing over 25 million solves, consisting of a user ID, a scramble, a solution, a cube model, and of course the solve time. It's important to note that we don't have replays of the solves, so we cannot deduce how long steps like OLL or F2L took. But we have more data that I'm not going to talk about today. More on that at the end of the video. And we have a second table with over 40,000 users that mainly contains how many solves a user has in our data set. And one user has nearly 100,000 solves, which we have to account for by only considering him once when counting how often an algorithm is used. Some of the solves have empty solutions, scrambles that are too short, or unrealistic solve times. That's why we need to filter them out first. After that, we nearly lost 8% to empty solutions, empty scrambles, or invalid solves. We also filtered out over 12% of non-CFAP solves, like RU or ZZ, that we don't want to consider in our statistic. This leaves us with around 20 million solves, which we can extract information from. Thanks to Jill from speedcubedb.com, we have a list of all algorithms for each OLL and PLL case. And if we compare that to how often a case occurred, we can compute what percentage of cubers use that algorithm. This gives us a list of how common each algorithm is. For OLL1, for example, we can see that over 90% used the first algorithm in the list, and less than 10% used the second. But we went even further and analyzed different skill levels, like sub-7 second solvers or sub-10 second solvers. And this allows us to see what algorithms cubers of different skill levels use. We're especially interested in what algorithms sub-7 second solvers use. And based on that information, we recommend one algorithm. For most cases, like OLL24, most cubers use one algorithm. But for other cases, like OLL34, usage is way more distributed. You can check out all this data on Acubemy.com, even without an account. Lastly, I want to show you some interesting cases, like the GDPLL. More than 50% use the first algorithm with wide cube moves, but the data shows that less than 20% of sub-7 second solvers use this algorithm. Most of the fast cubers use the second algorithm, nearly 60%. That's also why the second algorithm is the recommended one. We can see the same for OLL55, where nearly none of the sub-7 second solvers use the first algorithm, while over 60% use the second one. One final limitation that I want to mention is that we cannot distinguish algorithms that use the same moves just from a different angle. As I said earlier, we have even more data with replays of the solves. This data allows us to ask questions like how fast is a 12-second solver doing this OLL or that PLL. If you're interested in future results, consider using Acubemy, subscribing, or joining our Discord server, link in the description. In the meantime, head over to Acubemy and feel free to play with the statistics yourself. Maybe you'll find some interesting insights. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one.